let's move on. uh, in family relationships, no, one characteristic of it is in a family you have an assigned role to portray. So these are your major functions, your duties or responsibilities as a member of the family. Like for example, no, there's someone assigned to be the father figure in the family. In most cases, like your biological father. When we say a father figure, we have expectations set for that person to lead and have the authority within your family. That's kay mao man na, that's our perspective of what a father figure looks like. Okay, so but again, it still depends sa culture or the norms of the society of what to expect in that particular role as part of the family. So a family being a transactional group means that we respect each member's roles. So in a family, we have this similar concept of hierarchy. Of course, respect must always be present even to the youngest member of the family, but in terms of decision making and administration of the family, certain people play an important role in it. So for example, your parents have the most authority over whatever actions or decisions that the family must do, no? So on the other hand, ang children must give their respect and follow their parents' decisions. Pero again, this does not apply to all families out there. Magdepende gyapon na sa setup, and in some cases, whoever is financially assisting the family has the most authority. Okay, so magdepende rin na. We have different situations, especially the families nga ato ang that nga ato ang uh, nga ato ang nauban right now. Okay, so, families usually occupy a common living space over an extended period. So, it is expected that you have lived with your family for many years already. Even though that if currently no you're not with them right now, it is still predictable that you will look forward to that day that you can visit them at home. So, there's still an attachment of you that attracts to be with them even in a short time. So one common example here for those people that are already married and moved out from their families, you can still see them visit their homes from time to time. Another example, if you're working abroad or studying outside the province, you have this longingness to be with your family and aiming for that day to come that you'll be at home. Okay? And lastly, families possess a mixture of interpersonal images that evolve through the exchange of meaning over time. As they say, families are the first teachers. So this is where we first mold our values, beliefs, and how we are being practiced to interact other people outside the family. So at a very young age, our immediate providers help shape our self-image based on how we were disciplined, rewarded, or punished. And these behaviors that we see and experience as we grow up living with our family, it can embed it unconsciously into our minds and yield an effect to each of our personalities. Family ties are very strong in the Philippines and traditionally emphasize our families than individuals. So, one evidence here that can determine how Filipinos give importance to family ties is the growing number of extended families out there. No, common is siya. This is very common wherein you can see relatives living under the same roof. Okay, so the families, I mean Filipinos, no, uh, Filipinos are traditionally bound by loyalty, respect, and affection. So, at a very young age, we were taught to respect those people older than us. No? Atong tawagon sila dapat og ate, kuya, tita, tito, no, and so on and so forth. Loyalty also in the Philippines is uh, we really value that, no, that's very important to us in our Filipino culture. So Filipinos strongly support their members of the family. At the same time, as a Filipino, we are faithful to the obligations in the family. Like example, if you are like the eldest, no, eldest child in the family, it is expected for you to give financial support to your younger siblings once you have work. You can even see like some people still supporting their families despite that they're already married and have their own family as well. Naagyapon gasto gyapon sila silang like their kanang families, no. So that's how loyal we are to our families. Part also of the Filipino culture is to take good care of our elderly, mga family members, like our grandparents, no. It's our practice that it's our responsibility as children of our parents to take good care of them once they get older. uh, Dili ni uso sa Pilipinas to bring them to an elderly home center, no. Aside nga gasto, we also believe as Filipinos that we should not let go of our elderly because a family should live together. Okay? The next slide also shows similar characteristics of a family. The next slide also shows similar characteristics of a Filipino family. So one important note here is that the Philippines is no longer strictly practicing this patriarchal setup. So we can already see a lot of women working and providing for their own families. As of this time, we are already adopting the equality of both parents or both sexes in terms of decision making, financial aspects, and administration of the family. Now, here are some tips on how to improve relationships with family members. First is facing issues head on. So if there's a misunderstanding among family members, then try to voice it out. So it's better to have an open communication with your family. If something is bothering you, then address the issue to the person concerned. Next is be humble and give a sincere apology. So you should say sorry if you really mean it. So both parties should strip away their pride with each other. If no one would feel sorry about it, then the problem will not be resolved at all. So naay diri magpahiubos. Okay? And then next, watch your words with your family members. So as this famous line says, no nga, words cut deeper than a knife. We need to be careful of what we say to our family, especially in times when we are in an unpleasant situation. There are moments we forgot what we say when we feel angry towards a person. So, in times like that, we speak words that might get you to regret it later on. So, in the end, also, as a receiver, it's difficult for him or her to forget those hurtful words that you just said. So again, please, please let us all be cautious with our own words, especially if we're talking to children, because we don't know the effect of it psychologically as that child grows up. Next is avoid harsh criticism and judgment. So your family must be the most supportive people out there. So if you want to comment on something, if possible, please be objective on how you criticize someone in the family. Kindly point out those negative aspects in an objective manner and give pieces of advice that is beneficial to the person. Again, avoid using harsh words that are not even useful to the situation. Next is to improve communication. Okay? So by improving your communication, mo follow ni ang you need to make friends with your family members. So making friends means that at least try to approach them, talk with them, share your thoughts, and have an open communication, especially with your parents. No? So one common in practice to improve communication is to have a family bonding. So from time to time, you need to go out as a family to know more about them. It doesn't need to be extravagant as long as you're with your family and you can share and talk about different things. And lastly, show affection and give mutual respect. So providing affection to your family does not only limit to gifts or money. Affection can also be a form of positive behavior and giving respect to one another despite the age or achievements of a family member. There are still a lot of ways on how to improve your relationship with your family. This list will be useless unless you will apply it in real life. So I hope that you and your family are doing great right now. If not, always remember that it's never too late to resolve issues. You just need to take an action, initiate, and be hopeful that your family can overcome whatever issue you're facing right now. So that ends my presentation. I hope that you've learned something, and thank you so much for listening and have a great day ahead. So these are my references for this presentation. Okay, so again, thank you so much for listening.